Hey, you guys, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We have Tara and Crystal on panel with me. And Tara and I had kind of planned we were going to do a very well laid out live that kind of went through, the background history, the court documents, the who's who in the case, all of that kind of thing to try to help piece it together because there's so many names that it's really confusing for a lot of people, including myself. And so that was the plan. And then the news broke and the plan changed. So I think what we're just going to do this evening is
Are you there, Carrie? Oh.
Yeah, I had feedback.
Oh.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, that was what it was. Okay. Yes. So that plan changed. What we'd like Yeah, so what we'd like to do I think Crystal somebody's got the YouTube going in the background.
Let me double check that it's not me. Does that fix it? I found a tab. Can you hear me?
It was probably me.
Oh,
Okay.
that could be. Okay.
So, all right.
We're so organized.
So the other night when we did our live, we just kind of wanted to keep it focused on the women, Veronica and Jillian, and kind of, the experience with the community, things like that. I felt that was very important. We weren't able to answer many questions at that time, even though we did have a lot of information. But I kind of feel like now that there have been the arrests today, that we can answer quite a bit. We can answer a lot more questions tonight. So that's probably the best way to do it. I know you guys have a ton of questions. And so
Domino's pepperoni stuffed cheesy bread is loaded with pepperoni.
Oh.
Tara wants pepperoni pizza.
Apparently. That's awesome.
So yeah, just if you've got questions, put them in the chat. There is a Google Voice number that I can put up here after a bit. If you'd like to come on panel and talk, you're more than welcome to do that. You don't have to show your face. I just ask that the chat be very respectful. And that goes to all the families involved, including those that have been arrested. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that just because one family member or two have been arrested, it certainly does not mean that the rest of the family is like that. And I know that they're very heartbroken. So please keep them in mind, as well as Jillian and Veronica's families. So that's what I have to say to start it off. Tara, you have anything?
Just that this has been quite the journey with you. What started off as me just kind of validating a Facebook group page has turned into so much more than that. And I'm glad you let me help you out, come along for the ride, support you, because it's been important to me. I don't know either the women or the families, but it's been important to me. So it's getting to this day was pretty, it's not the outcome we wanted, but at least we are getting somewhere.
Definitely. It was kind of emotional because I just got home late last night and I was like, man, if I just stayed one more day, because I really wanted to see it through, but I really had a feling that there wasn't any more places that we could possibly search. So, and we were kind of right about that. So, with that, there is Tracy Pearson. Thank you so much for becoming a member. And I saw another one. Mm-hmm. Lisa's been with me for quite a while. She's usually with me on trials. And Lisa gifted 5 memberships. So if you got a membership from Lisa, please reach out and tell her thank you. And welcome, Mia Bito. Welcome. All right. So questions. And we won't be discussing other creators in here. Let's just put that to bed right away. So the first question, I've read there could be more arrests. Any thoughts on that? So I can go first. Tara probably has her own thoughts as well. I do feel like there very, very possibly could be a couple more arrests. I'm hoping that there will be. So we have 5. One of the names, so the 5 that have been arrested today are Cole Twombly, Cora Twombly, which is his wife. They are the parents to Frank. If you remember our drive, and Frank, kind of made that little comment in our Facebook group that night. Those are his parents. Tad Colum, obviously, that is Grandma's boyfriend, and Grandma herself. And then there's a Shelley Harmon. Now, I don't know the connection with Shelley Harmon, but Tara has a little information on that because she's good. But that Shelley Harmon is not a name that has come up with me at all. So those are the 5 names. But yes, I do think that there potentially could be maybe 1 or 2 more. And I'm going to mute and I'll let you talk, Tara.
No, I do think it's highly possible that we'll see a couple more arrests out of this, just because of it's such a big convoluted web. But I would not be surprised. I'd be fairly happy, in fact, if there was a few more arrests to get everybody get the band back together, so to speak.
Absolutely. That, yeah, I feel like they're, and when I think like more arrests, they may not actually be like directly involved with, what's happened with Veronica and Jilian, but it could be arrests in other ways for other things, I guess. That is
Correct.
all I feel kind of connected together.
Yep. That's how I would. Yeah, I agree. There could be a lot more going on with it. Hopefully the background noise is not too bad.
Hopefully the women are being recovered right now. Jillian's mom said Jilian has passed and the grandmother confessed. She did post that in our Facebook group, and that indeed was Jillian's mother, and our hearts go out to her. I know that there is an area that Tad Colum, the grandmother's boyfriend, that he leased, some land that he leased. And currently there is a small excavator on that property as a recovery effort.
That's surreal. It is very surreal. I'm also getting some information, Carrie. It just came in that it looks like some of the activity today has been around a brick school.
Yeah, very interesting, huh?
Which would make sense because I believe the Twombly couple that was arrested live near a brick school.
Yep, they certainly did. That was that brick school we were going to go search, huh?
Yeah. I think that's the one that had been reported that somebody had been down there but got ran off by Granny.
Yes, so that same day that we were going, somebody did get ran off by her, and then we were quickly. They made it known quickly to us that we weren't welcome out there either. And let me tell you, I wanted to be able to come home in one piece, and law enforcement didn't need any more trouble on their hands. So that's not what we were trying to do at all. And
no, you guys did great.
Gun Nut, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate that.
I'm getting a lot of new fans.
And there has not been a press conference yet. I don't know. What do you think on that, Tara? I think it might be maybe tomorrow. Maybe they will. I'm not sure. I think they still have some work ahead of them. So they may not do anything until they have a little bit more information for the public. But those are just my thoughts. They very well could do one tonight. They could do one tomorrow. But I'm sure they will do one very soon.
I think they will too. I don't know that it'll be tomorrow for the same reasons that you spoke to just now, Carrie. There is a lot of information to go to. 5 arrests, 4 that we feel very confident are connected to the case. 1 more that maybe that wasn't quite hitting our radar the way that we probably would like for it to. It wouldn't surprise me if they waited a couple of days to kind of get their ducks in an order so they know what information they want to release to the public, because that's been the strategy with law enforcement this entire time, is to minimize giving information to the public, let everything kind of run its course, and quietly put together the information they need to bring them to be able to arrest them. Now, the other thing to go to that is I'm hoping the real arrests and not anything that they're going to hold them and release them later on. But with Granny confessing, maybe this is the first part of the end of the chapter.
Right. Yeah. And, not only did they have Tiffany Adams, and I'll say her name now because she has been arrested. That is the grandmother. There is also the Twombly's, one of their daughters actually assisted in this. And I tell you what, she's a teenager, and the strength that had to have taken for her to be able to do that, it has to be incredible. My heart goes out to her. I mean, there's so many children's lives that have been impacted and will forever be impacted. And man, she probably was a huge piece to solving this. And she's kind of a hero in my eyes for a young girl. So it's amazing.
So just to clarify, when we say that she had a part in this, it was a positive part, if you could call anything positive. She's not in any trouble at all.
No, not at all. She played a very vital, positive role in this, and one that would be extremely difficult for even most adults to do. So she pretty amazing, and I've heard nothing but she's a wonderful kid, always has been. So that's great. So is Frank a suspect? Well,
God, we hope so.
I've heard conflicting stories, and this is just what I've heard. So I can't back this up by fact. So Frank is the girl we were just speaking of. That is her brother. And my understanding is that Frank is actually the one that took her to where she needed to go, because she had to leave the area. Okay. My understanding is that her brother's the one that took her. I don't know if that's true or not. Based on the comments he made, I kind of find that doubtful, but I mean, but maybe he's looking out for his little sister. That's a whole different scenario than a stranger on Facebook that you feel is attacking your family. So, it's highly possible that he's not a suspect. However, I still think that there's going to be at least one or two more. I would be shocked if there's not.
I would be too. I really would be. I know it's interesting, despite Carrie and I kind of falling into working together on this, me supporting her, I got conflicting information about Frank as well. Carrie would hear something and I would hear something, you try to piece everything together. And so it's based on his activity, like Carrie said, in the group, it doesn't look as promising as you would like for it to, unless he was trying to be passive aggressively cryptic, which is a lot of thought processing in my opinion, but anything is possible. Was there a woman named Thatcher arrested? I didn't see that name. Did you, Carrie?
No, the only name that we were not aware of was Shelley. Was it Shelley Harmon? Shelley Harmon is the name. And like I said, Tara knows more about it, and I'll let you talk about it, Tara, because I think you've kind of dug a little bit quickly, because I don't know how much time Tara's spent on it, but Tara's good, so she'd get it quick. But that is not a name that I had ever heard at all, period. I've never even heard of the lady. She was in her Facebook group, and I can remember seeing some of her posts. I didn't really see anything that stood out really, to me. She didn't get banned, so there's that.
No, she wasn't banned, and
because there's a bunch that had been.
We're still working on that connection. I know I'd seen the name before. Maybe it was through the Facebook, but I thought we had something before. And so I'm working with there's some individuals I have in the background. So it's not all me doing all the work. I've got some folks behind me that are amazing individuals. I've been lovingly calling them cookie or corner cutters, because they know they can direct me. They can give me information that is just amazing and valuable. And even though they don't think it is, it has been truly great in giving me direction and then supporting Carrie as well. What we do know about her, since she has been arrested, we know that she doesn't have much of a record. I think the only thing she's really been arrested for or had any interactions with the police before is a speeding violation. So I don't know if this is maybe a close family friend, if this is one of the little church members that they intertwine with, if maybe it's a nanny or somebody close to the home that maybe it's an obstruction of justice type of charge, like it's not direct, or it is, I don't know. We're still kind of putting that together a little bit, but it's weird because she did kind of pop out of nowhere. So it's hard to say. We're going to keep working it though, and we're going to figure it out because that is what we do.
Yeah. We do have somebody in our chat who does know. Okay. So there's somebody watching our live who happens to know Shelly Harmon, and she is telling me it was a personal family matter.
Okay.
Her and her son got drunk and got in a fist fight. Face palm is what this person said. Different son than the one I know. So it appears that maybe that was a family matter, and maybe that's why she wasn't really on the radar. But she did know who Tad and Tiffany were, at least. I'm positive of that, right? Okay. So Shelly Harmon, we're gonna say for now because we do have somebody that knows her personally.
Yeah, we've got it cleared up.
That she probably is not involved. Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna expect about three more arrests then.
Right. So and it's really important, I think, to point out we had an arrest earlier in the week that it was a name that was tied to everything. We had seen them kind of pop up, and it turned out to be completely unrelated. There was a lot of excitement surrounding it. And so that's why we ask questions, and we kind of let if it's related, we'll find out, because when you get a name like that, when you get a clue to the puzzle like that, it will lead you to the next clue one way or another. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, Treasure Hunters, National Treasure. One clue leads to another. And so it's unfortunate that these arrests occur in this timeline, because that could be negatively impactful to her when it has nothing to do with it.
Absolutely. Just like, when the kid he's a kid to me when he was arrested the other day, and, it was, but that's, it's natural. And I did speak with his father, and I told him that that's just kind of a natural thing. The kid knows the other people involved, what have you. He's ran into some trouble, and the father was very well aware, but he was making it clear that his son was not involved. And he did tell me the charges, but that's, things get pieced together real fast like that. So thankfully we have had family or friends that have been able to come out and be like, no, it was, they got drunk in a fist fight, I mean, like, it happens. How are Cole and Cole and Cora involved? Well, we don't know exactly what they have done, obviously, but what I can say is Cole and Cora are married. Now, when we have talked about this compound thing, I kind of want to clarify that the best I can. It's not a compound like you're thinking, like most would think a compound. I used to live overseas. We lived in a compound, and it was like a big, huge apartment complex surrounded by gates. And that's not really what this is. There's a lot of, they each have land out there. They live on that land, that kind of thing. Is that how you would kind of think of it, Tara? And then they they have these weekly meetings, and they call themselves God's Misfits. Well, that's where you're hearing the word cult. And I also don't necessarily know that cult's the best word, but I don't really know another word for it.
Yeah, that was actually explained to me a little bit. Yeah, that was when this was one of those tips that came in my way. I think it showed up on the Facebook group, and we kind of shrugged it off like, okay, whatever. And then somebody said, hey, I don't know if you saw this post. And that post was specific about some of the property out there and the dangers therein. And they said, hey, you probably need to look at the school. It's down on a corner. It's not an actual school anymore, but the property is still there. And there's some individuals that live down there, and this cult gets together down there. And when I inquired further about the cult, they said, well, you have to think of it, don't interpret it literally. For some of us here in the area, our churches are our organizations like that, our religious organizations, they're pretty much open. You want to go try it, you can go in the door open and be welcomed for the most part. They said, but this particular one is an invite-only situation. And there are only certain people that everybody knows these meetings happen on Sunday for the most part, but not everybody's invited. And then there's some other little things that have been said that happen within the confines of this religious group. That's not like they've not been described as religious extremists or anything fundamentalist, nothing like that. Just very quiet to themselves. But nobody wants to look into it further there. There's a lot of different things that go on with this group that people are scared of them for the most part is what it comes down to. And so there, as far as we know, we've not heard of any, sacrifices or satanic things or anything like that. They're just their own little tight knit community within a community is how she told me that the cult is being described as.
Right. That's kind of how I'd summarize it. Maybe some of the practices aren't things that we would practice. I did get some inside information on it. It's not, they're not having Bible study. I'll tell you that. They do have their little potlucks, and there's a whole lot of drinking that goes on. They pray for you before dinner and they pray for you before you leave. But they, well, we'll go into that another day when I have time to put it together, because I do have some information on that. So, but I don't know that I'd call it a cult, because as soon as you say the word cult,
it gets negative.
All sorts of crazy things start going through their heads. And I'm not saying that some of it's not crazy. That's not what I'm saying, but it's not like how we normally would have thought of a cult, I think. And I also can clarify another one. This is a wonderful thing about social media. Frank is the one that threatened us. Frank is married to Chloe, and that is Cole and Cora's son, Frank. Okay. And I had said earlier that I think Frank may have been the one possibly to have gotten his sister out. Okay. It was not him. Frank is the stepbrother to her. So it was her biological brother that did it. So Frank's back on my list.
So give me the relationship again. Say that again, because I think that aligns with.
Let's see.
So Frank is Cole and Cora's daughter, but I think
Frank is a step sibling to the daughter who's like the star witness.
Yes.
He is not the sibling that got her out of the mess. That is her biological brother that did. And I will say, so this is why it didn't make sense that it would be Frank. The biological brother is also, well, they're both kind of in protective custody. We'll put it that way. Which made no sense why it would be Frank, because Frank was busy mouthing off. So that clears that up. That's perfect.
But it's on, I think it's probably in the group now. Somebody has posted it. It looks like there's a Jilian Kelley group, and they are posting the mugshots.
I can share those real quick. They're in the. Okay, I'll work on getting those up here. Let me do that in a minute.
Yeah, it just came through.
Do you have a way to they're on the messenger group, and I don't have a way to access those unless they're in the actual Facebook group.
Let me help you out with that. The Facebook, do you want it in the mod chat, or where do you want me to put it?
Yeah, you can put it in the, if you can, they're in the mod chat right now on Facebook, but I can't get to that because I don't know my login. So awesome. I had to join the Facebook group earlier, and they wouldn't approve my posts.
That is too funny. Okay, I see him in the group chat. Do you want me to get it to you? I just sent it to your Facebook, but I sent it to our chat. I don't know if that's where you want it or not.
Okay, I see them right here. Hold on. Okay. They have been posted in the group, so let me share that real quick. All right. Can you guys all see those?
Not yet, but somebody chat, let us know if you can see them. I need to be watching that. Yes, Patriotic. Yep, they are posting the group, and we're gonna show
All
now
right.
if we can get the
So I'm pretty
screenshot.
certain that that is grandma. Let me
Which
see.
one are you looking at? The top one?
It
The
is the one above
blonde?
the one above Tad.
Okay, so yeah, that would be Tiffany.
Okay,
Tad
so
looks to have the really long beard.
yep. So the one on the screen right now, that is Tiffany. Boy, she looks a lot different than she did in her Facebook pictures. Whole lot different. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. This must be Cole.
Let me come back to that. I can't see the screen. I don't know what's going on with this. So Cole
Yeah.
is going to have the like the handlebar mustache
Yep.
to the goatee look. So he's in the blue shirt.
So that is Cole. Now, a little bit about Cole. In their group that they have, their God's Misfits, Cole is the preacher. And I've heard a whole lot of misinformation about this. People saying he's the butcher. He's not the butcher.
You know, he's not.
Cole and the butcher, who is a whole different name that hasn't been named yet. So I don't want to name the person. Most people already know. But as far as I know, the butcher has not been arrested. Cole is not the butcher. Cole is like the preacher, if you will. Okay. So that's Cole. And then this one, this is Tad. This is grandma's boyfriend, Tad. We've heard when we were out there, we heard he could be a scary dude.
Yeah.
So that is Tad Colum, grandma's boyfriend. And finally, this one I'm guessing this is Cora. This is Cora Twombly. So Cora is Cole's wife. And it is their daughter that probably...
Her daughter. Yeah. It's her daughter.
Yeah, her daughter, his stepdaughter, right? So, yeah, it's their daughter that really probably did help extensively with the investigation. And I just can't imagine being that age and having that kind of stuff on my shoulders. And I just want to like hug her and, you know, be like, we're not all like this, you know, it's sad. But yeah, Cole, was he smiling?
You know, that's what I was seeing. And I hope that's his RFB version of his plain face. I hope that it's not a smile. I know some people handle these things in different ways, but I really hope that's not a smile. Gosh, it's a little creepy for me, honestly, to see that. But you don't want to see somebody smiling or, crafty lady smirking. It really does look like a smirk. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm glad they've been arrested. I'm glad that the direction has gone this way and they're getting these guys for this. I'm just hoping they will. I do have an update on the arrest situation, and it looks like at the very least they'll be held until Monday. But none of them should have an issue bonding out. So that's something to keep in mind. If there's bonds set, then they have the means to take care of that.
Yep.
So there's some other things coming in that their release, should they be released, that could be very interesting in that area to see the public response, I think.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people were afraid to, like, basically, you know, a lot from being down there for the 6 days. A lot of people had run-ins with this dude right here. A whole lot of people had run-ins with him, with Tad. And I know that people were kind of, you know, afraid to really, I don't want to say afraid, because it's not like they're, you know, chicken shits and stuff. It's not like that, but the retaliation, you know. And so I hope that they do not bond out. But Tad and Tiffany have money, and they got a whole lot of land to sell off to use if they need bail money. So yeah, I just pray that they are not released.
Well, and so I'm glad we got and this is something I think I've talked with you about, Carrie. There's something there's with this group, it really is important that they got these 4 detained, kept busy for a few days, and that they needed to be able to search the property. There had been some communications that took place between, I know, myself, Carrie, and whatnot, that searches were requested but denied. And because they can claim
Yes.
sovereign citizenship, which is basically a way of going above the law, basically saying, I don't recognize you as my government, so you can't tell me what to do. That is can't say it's a belief, but it's something that they understand very well within this little tight-knit, for lack of a better word at this point, cult. And so when they've been asked to search different places and these people said no, you got to find a way around that. And so it's probably what a big part of this was. They had to find something to keep these folks busy, so that they could get warrants to get on the properties that they own and start searching, because they have until Monday at the very least. I don't know if it's this Monday or next Monday. It just says Monday. So I don't know if it's a 24-hour period.
70, probably, yeah. It would probably be this Monday.
Well, and I don't know if it was an FBI arrest or if this was a state, federal, or whatnot arrest.
Right.
I'm sure they have different kinds of holding policies for that. And so I'm sure they are working under a very stressful clock to try and figure out, because they only have so much time before. And I don't know the law specifically, but I do feel very strongly that this is not. They don't have the time to take. They are not twiddling about. They are working hard to find these women. There was something in the chat about have the women been found? Have they been recovered? No, not to our knowledge. That's what they're trying to do now. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to get into that from the chat. I can't highlight. I'm not the cool highlighter person like you are. I can't highlight the questions like you can, Carrie. So I just have to pull them out.
Oh, right here. I was gonna pull it up afterwards. Yeah. So I don't know about Jillian. We just know that her mom did post in our Facebook group that she is no longer with us.
Yeah.
And that's heartbreaking. I do want to, while we're just talking about the arrest, I want to totally applaud law enforcement. They came in and just kind of like we thought they were going to do, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, Tara, we had talked about it. And so we were seeing law enforcement out there, but we were only seeing like 4 SUVs, it wasn't a big presence. And I just knew something was going to happen. I knew it would happen, this weekend. In fact, I was talking to one of the news producers and he said the same thing, of course it'll be, this weekend while I'm off but whatever, that's great. They're arrested. I just hope that they don't get out. This is Chloe. So this is, Chloe is actually married to Frank. Frank is the son of Cole and Cora. Somebody posted
I can't see your screen. They post that in the group.
Yeah, it's in the group.
Okay, I'll go to the Facebook group and take a quick look.
Law enforcement really did come in. They scooped it up. They got in there quick today, and I think they have done an absolutely amazing job. I know it was frustrating. It's always frustrating when they're not giving us information that we as a public, we want it, and we want it now. We want it yesterday. The families are the same. And, the families were right there with us, you guys. I know for a fact that one of the families told me that they had not heard from law enforcement in a week. So they're sitting there on the edge of the seats, just like all of us are. And, so law enforcement did a great job by keeping things close to the vest. If that had that's why I deleted all of that when it started coming out. We were getting that before people were posting it, but that's why I deleted those posts, because in no way do we want to give anybody a heads up that you've got basically what appears to be like a whole SWAT team headed your way, and those pictures and those videos could wait. And so that's why I did it. It wasn't to be rude or disrespectful to anybody. It was to respect law enforcement and their hard work that they had ahead of them. And to be honest, I was a little fearful for them because I know Tad's background and I know what the community has had to say about him. So I was a little fearful of them going in there with Tad. I don't know. There is a little bit of a rumor of what situation may have unfolded, but whatever, they got him and he's booked. So there's that.
As he should be.
As he should be.
As he should be. What else have we got? I need to come back, go over to the chat real quick and see what's happening there. Rick School. Oh my, the psychic mentioned a school. I've heard all about the psychic. I don't know which one it is because I couldn't find the video that I was looking for.
Is that Mara, Psychic Mara?
Is it Psychic? Okay.
Yeah.
I can go back and look at her. I wish I would have found her. I know that everybody's different about psychics. I've talked with a couple, and it's being psychic isn't cut and dry, in my opinion, and it's not a perfect ability. How about that? But sometimes, it's kind of like analyzing things. You get clues to a puzzle, and you kind of have to solve it. So I kind of take mediumship and reading cards and all that jazz with a certain kind of grain of salt, because I don't know what people. Who knows if somebody's pretending to be a psychic, but they're actually a little more involved or whatnot. Not to say that's the case here, but I'm always very skeptical when it comes to these things. But the Brick School,
yes.
Now, so it's funny because I know that I think that's what drove you guys out to look for the schools, is that it kind of was insinuated, Carrie, that maybe the Veronica and Jilian were located at a school, and that's where they could be found potentially.
Yeah, that is exactly it. I too am not a big psychic believer. That's why I posted in the group. I allowed those posts and I asked for people to be respectful. If you don't believe in it, then just scroll right on by, because there are people that do, But what I will tell you is, being a non-believer and psychic, she got a lot of stuff right. I'm not gonna lie, she really did. And I don't know, maybe it's coincidence. I'm not sure. The last video I watched, and we didn't get to watch them all because honestly, we just went day and night. We truly did. We didn't have time to sit and watch a YouTube video. When we put on a YouTube video, it was about usually 4 or 5 a.m. In fact, one night I fell asleep with the remote in my hand. It'd be like 10 minutes of watching something and we're out. So, but one of them I did watch was like, it was telling us, basically it was saying, it could have only been directed to us because we were the only ones outside of the area that were searching. And it was like, you need to get out of there. You need to lay low for like 24 hours. We're looking at each other going, okay.
It's funny you should mention that.
Yeah.
It's funny. No, I'm serious, because I just got a message.
Go ahead.
I just got a message that said it was a good thing that you guys backed off when you did. Because I guess they had been, this individual had been following this whole search from the start. By search, I mean the boots on the ground, you and whatnot. And they said that it's a good thing you left when you did. And this isn't a threatening text. It's more of one of those, can't say what I know, but the taunting wasn't going to stop.
Oh yeah, I firmly 100% believe that. Like I said on the live, was it Thursday night? I think. Oh yeah, Thursday night before I left. There was some hairy moments for sure. That I'm not really used to being put into. So definitely there was some hairy moments, but yeah. So yeah, she did say back off 24 hours, and that basically they'd be found. She wasn't quite right on the 24 hours, but she wasn't very far off either.
Okay. Carrie, I'm going to stop you real second. Something came into the chat, and I'm going to read it, and it's from, it looks like it's an OSBI. Somebody just interrupted that. Okay. So it says here, stated for today, it's stated for immediate release. And if there's anybody in the chat that is truly close to this, I just, you might, if this is upsetting, you may not want to stick around, but March 30th, 2024, the Texas County Sheriff's Office requested the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation to investigate the suspicious disappearance of 27-year-old Veronica Butler and 39-year-old Jilian Kelley. Their vehicle was found abandoned near Highway 95 and Road L, south of Elkhart, Kansas, in rural Texas County. OSBI special agents immediately began investigating their vehicle, and determined there was evidence to indicate foul play. On April 13th, 43-year-old Tad Burt Cullum, 54-year-old Tiffany Michelle Adams, 50-year-old Cole Earl Twombly, and 44-year-old Cora Twombly were arrested in Texas and Cimarron counties. All four individuals were booked into the Texas County Jail on 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. The OSBI and local law enforcement are still currently working to locate the 2 victims. Anyone with information regarding this case is asked to contact the OSBI at tips@osbi.ok.gov or 1-800-522-8017. And the agency would like to thank the Texas County Sheriff's Office, FBI, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, Kansas Bureau of Investigation, Kansas Highway Patrol, and several other local agencies for assisting with the case. So that is the chart.
Wow. I mean, it's not shocking. It's not, I mean, for me, it's not a surprise. We kind of, but it's heartbreaking when you're a family and you finally just get that finality of that kind of news. I can't even imagine. Like our hearts just go out to you. They really do. And
Absolutely.
like I said the other night, my heart goes out to the community too, because these are people that, people do love these people, I mean, they have family that love them, that never imagined they could do something so hideous and horrendous. So, gosh, it's just horrible.
It is. But I'll tell you, as awful as it is, as terrible as this is, if you hadn't been down there putting some faces to where they needed to be at, putting this on the map and really pushing it and making yourself available, it's this kind of thing that really pushes the attention. It needs to continue pushing. This is just an arrest. These are just charges, and it sounds like they're going to be charged. So they will be held, but they'll likely bond or bail out. I don't know what that looks like in Oklahoma, but this isn't done. So it's going to take continued attention. It's going to be some pressure applied consistently to law enforcement to make sure that these things are seen through.
Definitely. And like I said earlier, I still feel like there's more to this situation, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more come out of it. And Tara and I will get into that, in another time. We kind of planned on that tonight, but this is more important. So this, took us this way. As far as a standoff at Tad's property, yes, we did hear that. We do not know if it's true or not, but he obviously surrendered, because it couldn't have lasted very long, I don't think. So, I mean, I think I have video of when they pulled up, and I have video of about the time that he was arrested, pretty close to. I don't know. Do you have any insight, Tara?
On that, no, I did. I talked to my local contact who's was sending some of the images that I shared with you. And when I asked about that, they didn't see anything. They could hear things such as, "We have a warrant." They couldn't hear the name that was read from the warrant when they were yelling it from outside looking in. So they didn't get the feeling of a standoff, but they're keeping their eyes open. Of course, that standoff may have been not loud enough for somebody to hear. I don't know how close this friend of mine was, but that was not their impression.
Right.
But now there's something to be said about some of these. There's a lot of people who are from the area. They're going to recognize the personality and the behavior attached to that personality and make presumptions that make sense. And it's easy for somebody to say, "Oh, I heard Tad, he did a standoff with police. Yeah, I can totally see Tad doing something like that." That kind of rhetoric is the kind of thing we need to make sure we validate, just because we want the right things going forward. We want the right facts going forward with this group so that they can be held accountable for their choices and their actions.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And I agree with that comment, TC, for whatever we're going to call or whatever they're doing. I just want to be careful with what I say, but and not because anybody should be in fear or anything. It's not like that. It's just that we just need to be careful with what we're calling it, what we're naming it, that kind of thing. That's how I feel anyway. But yeah, I hope they do. I hope they shut this whole thing down. I think that there's probably a lot of corruption, money. I think some of this runs pretty deep. But I think there's a lot of corruption involved, and I would assume that the FBI is well aware of all of that information as well. So that's kind of why I was saying I kind of feel like there might be some more arrests coming, but they may not be like arrests that are directly connected with the unfortunate murders of Jilian and Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know anything about Tad being seen digging. I have heard that. I mean, mainly anything you guys have heard, we probably have heard it as well.
Mm-hmm. I didn't hear Tad. The I don't think it was Tad that I heard. It was Cole that I had heard. I couldn't follow up on it. It wasn't worth sharing at that point in time, just because it was something as very simple as that he was seen with. And I heard a skid loader.
Yes, he had rented one or something.
Yeah, I'd heard that he was out there. It was and that was kind of the thing, is the tip was like he was out right there on the highway or on a road that, yeah, we could see him at the skid loader. I'm like, I feel like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to that. And if something comes up that's similar to that, then we can chase that one down. But I just held that one in my back pocket just in case.
Right. Those always go in my possibilities thing in my Discord. Like possibilities. You never
Exactly.
know.
Exactly.
Spray Dog 94. Yes. And thank you. We did address that earlier, and we were able to clear that up, that Shelly Harmon, she's apparently not related to this case at all. It just happened to be bad timing that she got booked at the same time. But to our knowledge, the best of our knowledge, she is not related. So let's definitely try to shut that down. We definitely don't want somebody that had absolutely nothing to do with something this horrific to be being accused of it. So, but we did address that earlier. And I'm going to address this one. So I went back and looked at my pictures. My husband and I did, actually. And I had the tag number from this car because I'm actually the one that chased it down. And it was actually a Camaro. It is a Chevy Camaro. I still know who owns it, and I still know, all that. But that was a Chevy Camaro, not a Charger. And when we were following it that night, after they had kind of toyed with us a little bit, it was pitch dark on those roads. And so it appeared to be a Charger to me, but it is indeed a Camaro. So there's that. I just wanted to clear that up. The other thing I wanted to clear up too, I did it earlier. The butcher is not Cole. The butcher is a completely different person. So that's being said a whole lot. But Cole is not the butcher at all. And the butcher has not been arrested. So we're just going to have to leave them out of it until we see any kind of arrest. And they may not have any kind of involvement. We just don't know.
Agreed. What else is in the...
Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
Family.
Totally agree with that.
Like, I wouldn't take back that experience for anything in the world. I just wouldn't. I mean, and it's so much different. And I've heard other creators say the same. When you're on the ground, it's totally different than when you're sitting at the computer and you're just doing your research and you're using all different kinds of tools that we use. I can tell you, on the ground, we weren't using all those tools that we normally use. We were talking to people. And that is the absolute best way possible to get the information. And that's how we were able to know as much info as we did, along with some amazing research skills from Tara and some of the people that she knows. So
our corner cutters.
That's right.
Corner cutters. And they are outstanding. I've been so impressed. I could not have been able to be as effective in doing this as I was without them. They're just amazing. One thing I'm going to touch on real quick, I'm watching the Facebook group and the chat at the same time. Probably not doing that great of a job, but
We're trying.
we're trying. But there's a lot of posts on the Facebook group chat that says, "Hey, all of you Tiffany and Tad and Twombly supporters, where are you now?" You said they were good people. Just to kind of point something out there, to some, they may have been. They may have been great people. There's a reason for that. If they were tight knit, if they were close or whatnot, if they felt very confident that there was no way these people could be involved in something like this, because while they may know the kind of person that they are, they just couldn't see this happening. And you never know the threshold somebody's willing to cross when it means something special to them. Now, that's not a defense mechanism, but I don't want to attack people who genuinely thought these four were decent human beings.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I know. And Tara and I absolutely agree on that. Like I said earlier, every family, or a lot of families, they've got a bad seed in them. And that definitely doesn't mean that the rest of the family is the same way. And, these people are genuinely in shock. They're in shock. They cannot fathom the idea that somebody they loved, care about, grew up with, had family Christmases together, went on vacations, is even capable of something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine being in that situation. So I agree, Tara, that we do need to be really careful with that, because they haven't done anything wrong. And if anything, they're victims as well, not to the same extent, but they are, because I mean, they're, I said this a week ago, that this was going to affect a whole lot of people in ways that people didn't realize. And it is. And I'm so sorry for that, for so many people.
I am too. It's I can't imagine taking somebody of my inner circle. I mean, and Carrie, I've only known each other for 2 weeks maybe. And I cannot imagine. I mean, I can imagine defending you and saying, no, that's not how Carrie is.
Right.
That's not who
Because you'd
she
be
is.
like, that's not what I've seen. I've never
Yeah,
seen
exactly.
that ever. Yeah.
My experience has never been that way. I can't see it being that way. And then you got to get the details. So there's always a story that everybody has. You have no idea what somebody's been through 5 minutes, or what somebody's done 5 minutes before you saw them. So it's when somebody says, I wouldn't put it past somebody, it's not because they're a bad person, but realistically speaking, we really don't know what we're capable of when we get to extreme points. And maybe Tiffany, to many people, was not capable of this kind of thing. This was just, but
Right.
If you ask other people, they would say, yes, absolutely. That's how my experiences have been interpreted from her. So this is very interpretational. That's why you have to rely on facts. You have to rely on evidence. You got to rely on a lot of science to push this case through, so that we put the right people in the right spaces.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure, had I talked to some of these people that are now sitting in jail, I probably could have sat down and had a nice conversation with them and thought they were the nicest people. And, totally, because I didn't have that kind of experience, or I wouldn't have. But yeah, I really appreciate you bringing that up, Tara, because I feel so strongly about things like that. How are we doing with all the news coming out? I think that Tara and I think that the rest of us that work together, I think that we are doing okay, because I think we expected this, and when we knew the players, we kind of, we know a lot, and we were expecting it. I'll just put it that way. We were expecting it. And today, I'm telling you, like I told my husband, like, it feels like Christmas, because I wanted these people, to face justice for what they've done. And I pray, but we can't stop now. It's only the beginning, really, on the legal side of things. It's only the beginning. So we got to keep at it, and we got to, stay on things.
Yeah. Well, and that's why the attention. So while we may have arrests, we may have charges, that doesn't mean we have convictions. We don't have trial dates. So that Facebook group needs to continue to bring attention to this matter. That's the only way that the public has a lot of power. And the more they speak up, the more that can be done.
Definitely. And I said it the other night, but like we can't take credit for this. I mean, all 13,000 of you in that Facebook, you guys were sharing information, you were sharing their pictures. If it had been 100 people in that group, we I mean, I'm sure FBI, they're going to figure it out anyway, but
Yeah.
I definitely because so many of you cared, it made it national coverage. And right now, and I'm in Oklahoma, I live here. This is the most important law enforcement thing in Oklahoma right now, period. There is nothing else more important right now in Oklahoma other than this case. So I want to thank all of you that are in that group and that you have been sharing and that you have felt comfortable coming forward, whether it was to me or Tara or another mod with information and the information that we're given isn't like earth groundbreaking kind of information, but it's enough information that we were able to put pieces of the puzzle together to have a very good idea of what was going on, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had some incredible information came through from individuals who, and some of them, Carrie, they wanted to approach you in real life. They simply did not want to take the chance of being seen
Right.
with you because their understanding of the danger because of their interpretations of their experiences there too. One of them particularly close, a couple of them actually particularly close to the matter. They're just like, I don't even want to put her in danger. And so they were actually thinking about you, Carrie, when they would come to me to be like, clearly you're not there. They won't see me with you. You're not going to share this. Give her this information.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys looking out for me. Yeah, that you guys have been amazing. You really have been amazing. I appreciate that
That's
very
awesome.
much. But yeah, I did talk to somebody very, very, very close to the children and to Veronica, and we were standing outside on a main road. And I said, "Do you want to go somewhere else?" Because my first thought was her safety. And she's like, "No, no, I'm done. I'm talking. I'm done." And there was no fear left in her because she was pissed by that time. She sat back. She tried to do everything the right way, the way the law had asked. And at this point, this would have been like what, maybe 12 or 13 days after. At that point, she was pissed and she didn't give a crap who was going to drive by.
Mm-hmm.
But I cared for her, and I'm like, can we go somewhere else? But yeah, people were really amazing. Willow Christian Church has been posting a lot. Yeah, I'm sure they have.
You mentioned the Christian church. That makes me think, if there's somebody in the chat, the family members, close friends, loved ones, I understand that there may be GoFundMes that have been started. If you have these links for those, will you please drop them in the chat? We want to put those over on the Facebook group. That would be awesome. I understand there may be something out there or something getting ready to start, but if we can have that information, there has been a couple of folks who have reached out asking about showing support in that fashion.
Yeah, and we would love to do that. I know that they had put one out for Jillian and for the garden that she had wanted to do at the church before she left to go. They were going to Nebraska, right? So she had wanted to leave the church there with this garden. And so people were just, you can donate to this, and they were going to put it together. And of course, Facebook does what Facebook does. Social media does what social media does. We wound up having to take it down because people were attacking them. Well, that's just ridiculous. Yes. We would have put the same up for Veronica, but we didn't have any information for that. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
If we had information for one for Veronica, we absolutely would put that out there. So if you have any of that information, or if there is a way that we can possibly help, definitely reach out to any of the mods or myself and just let me know, and we'll be happy to post that for you, because
absolutely.
we do want to keep helping, and the families are going to continue to need our support more than ever, probably then.
Agreed.
So what did she confess to?
That we don't know, but I believe the charges, that press release, that thing I just read off, I'm willing to bet that came out after the confession. I've not confirmed the confession. It's come from a couple of close sources on my end. I don't know that ours. Carrie and I were able to compare that information very quickly, and so I don't know. But I would not be surprised if it's the confession instigated the charges.
Yeah, I would think so too. Kind of backed in a corner at that point. They had enough evidence. They had eyewitnesses. They had eyewitnesses all along. Maybe not necessarily to the actual crime, but they had plenty of eyewitnesses to the vehicles that were there that day. There wasn't much way around it. You know what I mean? Like there just wasn't. And then they also had other people that were told that were very close to them, and thankfully those people were strong enough to speak out and go to somebody, and that got the ball rolling. That's what really got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
The other son, Canyon, was not arrested. No, and I'll point on that just a little bit. I've really actually heard good things about the guy. I really have. I haven't heard much bad. I'm not saying he's an angel or anything, but I think Wrangler, his big issue is that he got wrapped up into drugs. And, well, we know what that does to the majority of people. But as far as Canyon, I've really heard pretty decent things about him, but no, he's not arrested. I haven't had his name brought to me in any way or fashion that would suggest he had any kind of involvement. And the same goes for Wrangler. Wrangler's brother actually drove him from the jail that morning straight to Oklahoma City. It wasn't his dad, it was his brother.
Yeah.
I was there when that was said. So, but he was not around. So I think that Canyon and Wrangler both are, probably pretty innocent in this. I imagine Wrangler is going to have, it's going to be rough for him.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I do want to, there's something in the chat I saw from Bethany Dick that asks, do we know who put up the cross at the car site? I actually do. I have talked with that individual. They are insistent that they are left out of all of this. They just want to make sure that nobody is forgotten. And so that's all I had not, this is Carrie's probably first time in hearing this as well, because I kept that very close to my intel. I didn't tell anybody about it, but they put out just about everything there's been a lot they've put out. I don't know what all's been put out there. They've kept me pretty up to date, and they've been very diligent about going out to the site. They didn't mention if they were related. I think they just had a heavy heart when it came to this situation. It just really, really touched them. But I think that is a pretty common feel amongst a lot of people. It's how I got involved in this.
Definitely. And I do have like pictures and videos and
Beautiful.
all of that information, because I didn't go live while I was there. I just went live that very last night. I was going to leave in the morning, and then we wound up doing other things, and it wound up being late that afternoon before I got out of there. But I have tons of video that I took, tons of photos that I took that I can't wait to share with you guys. But this was breaking news today, so we're going to go with this one tonight. Frank Cole Twombly's father. Well, yeah, so Frank is Cole's son. Cole is the one that's been arrested. Frank has not been arrested as of now, but he is Cole's son who has been arrested.
Yes.
And that is correct. Jillian's mom did post that the grandma had confessed to killing them both. She had put that in our Facebook group. The ladies go ahead.
Oh, I'm hoping that she's listening. I know it's hard to hear these things. And if anybody from the family is listening, we are definitely supportive of what you're going through. Your engagement is brave, to say the least, at this point. I don't know that I could engage with social media in your shoes. So putting information out there and being a part of the group, we are very glad to see you there, but we're not glad for the reasons.
Yeah, and we really try to keep it, really respectful to all the families. So I hope that you feel welcome there. And you definitely have all the support in the world from I'm everybody in the group. I can guarantee you that.
Absolutely.
Have they
If
been
you don't, we
Go
kick them out.
ahead.
If they don't support them, we kick them out.
That's right. Yep, they'll be gone immediately, like no questions. Have the ladies been recovered? So I don't know what Jillian's mom knows. She didn't go into any details. The last I knew, they had a small excavator out on some land that Tad leased, and they were using that excavator. And that was what, maybe an hour and a half ago that I think that was. So I'm going to say they at least haven't found one. I do not know if Jillian was found. I kind of want to say I don't know if she was found or not, but probably because the confession, she may have gotten the information that it was no longer a possibility. I don't know.
That's what I'm presuming too. I think Jillian's mom would feel, I don't mean to speak for her, but if it were me, if I was in her shoes, I would not feel comfortable divulging information that didn't belong to my family directly.
No, I wouldn't either.
And so that might be, and so this is one of those things, there's a lot of emotions that come into this kind of situation. And it's easy to believe that what happens to one happens to the other. What one family says, it must be true for the other family because they have all the same information, and they very well may, but they may feel like that's not their position to put things out there. I know that's not, I wouldn't feel right about putting information out there that the other family wasn't comfortable, because it would impact them. And so we need to keep those kind of perspectives in mind.
Absolutely.
That Jillian's mom is only talking for Jillian's side of the family at this point, I do believe.
Exactly. Yeah, they do consider themselves sovereign citizens. My understanding is they have sovereign land. They do not recognize any real type of law enforcement. I mean, I don't even know how grandma had a driver's license after looking at her record, because I'm like, I wouldn't have a driver's license.
Yeah, because that sovereign citizen thing does that kind of thing for you. That is the very thing that they can do that. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with the internet, the national news, especially during that kind of BLM thing, where you'd see video that a police officer, law enforcement of some type, pulled somebody over. They were, a Black American. They were an African American. They were a person of color, what have you, and that person said, "I'm a sovereign citizen. You can't touch me." And in many cases, I would see the cop saying, "I don't know what that means. That doesn't apply here. I don't know what that is." And in this part of the Oklahoma, it's well known. And they do rely on that to provide some protection for themselves. You have to kind of wonder about some things. You can't really prove it, but we've heard that multiple times. The sources that I have are very clear. It is a thing. They teach others how to use it. And that's what led to, Carrie, that's what led to our conversation about how some folks were afraid to speak, because if they gave law enforcement information, law enforcement can go back to maybe Tiffany, Tad, Colt, or Court and say, "This is the information we have." And any one of those individuals can say, "Who told you?" By my Sixth Amendment right, I think that's the right amendment. By my constitutional right, you have to tell me.
Yep.
And
you have the right to know your accuser.
Yep. And so sovereign citizens, they do live by the Constitution, which is that big document that manages the entire country. But then
they know it very well. They know
very,
it very well.
Scarily well. And these people are not attorneys. And so that is the scary thing about all this, is they knew how to work the Constitution to their benefit, to the point where I would encourage anybody who knows how to look up arrest records. I'm not going to give you the steps here because I learned it. You can too.
Right.
But it is, I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, I live in Kansas and I would be arrested. And they weren't, it's just because the multiple behaviors, it's a pattern of behaviors, what you'll see in there. And you're just thinking, how in the world, what did you do? Like how, but it's because she can claim sovereign citizen. Yeah. And so it is a thing down there. It is a part of that religious grouping thing that it's not really a cult, but it is kind of, and it depends, again, those are interpretations. It depends on who you ask and what their involvement is.
Right.
I've heard stories about that group from tattooing children to some not holy water baptisms, but something else. I can't remember what it was. And I was like, well, that's new. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I
Whatever.
do have like I said earlier, I have some inside information on that that I do plan on sharing with some of the activities that have gone on. I have some pictures, I have all that kind of stuff that you guys haven't seen yet. I don't think anywhere. So I mean, I think we'll get to that. We'll get to that next week, I guess. We'll get to
Yeah.
it. We'll
Oh,
get to
yeah.
it. But there's still so much information that you guys haven't heard or seen that we want to bring to you. And we'll get there. We'll get there. Cole is not the butcher. I know that somebody keeps saying that, but Cole is not the butcher, and the butcher has not been arrested. So there's that. We don't know,
Yes.
was a butcher ever even involved? I know that was the, kind of the hype, the rumor from the beginning. But so far him nor his wife have been arrested for anything to our knowledge. So obviously if he is, we'll let you know real fast. But
Yep.
right now, no. And on the screen right now, that is Tad. That's grandma's boyfriend. And we showed these earlier, but I know that we have new people coming in. This is Cora. This is Cora Twombly. This is her husband right here. This is Cole. Cole is considered basically like the quote unquote preacher of the church. But
yeah.
him and the butcher kind of share those duties, is my understanding. They kind of go back and forth. So, but like I said, the butcher has not been charged with anything, so we're not going to discuss it until or if there would be a charge. Then that's Tad, and then again that's Cora, Cole's wife. And Cora, yes, stepmom to Frank. We got the mug shots. Is there anybody that wants to come up on panel if you want to talk about things now? Do you feel a little more comfortable? Like I said, you don't have to show your face whatsoever, but you're more than welcome. And I can put the link in here for you guys. But don't go crazy on me. And do you see any questions? I think I might be a little behind here.
I'll work from the bottom up if you're going from the top down. Yeah, it is confusing. Oh my gosh, this is like a family tree of bushes.
It is. So let me tell you
related.
all of the information. So I didn't take my laptop. I literally left in 30 minutes. I didn't take my laptop. I had my iPhone. So everything I was getting, all I could do was screenshot it or, whatever. And I got home last night and I never did go to sleep. I stayed up all night long, clearing out my phone, organizing all of that information, redacting names and pictures and all that kind of stuff so that I can share that, information with you where there is no way possible it could be connected back to whoever shared it with us. But I was up all night long doing that. And I've been telling Tara, I'm like, what do we do? Like a family tree? Because it is. There are so many people involved. And it is really hard to keep it straight. Yes.
I got to stop you. Go check your messages. I'm going to send you something.
Okay.
I'm getting a couple of different avenues saying, tell her to check her messages. Okay, I will. I'm sending you in our chat the name that you need to look for in the messages. I don't know what it is. Something about supposed breaking news. And so hopefully, let me see.
All right, I'm checking them now.
Okay. And I'm getting some more feedback on that one too. And that name is the one used. Sorry to be cryptic, all. It's kind of one of those things where something comes in like that, we kind of want to pay attention to it. And this is how Carrie and I have been operating for 2 weeks.
So Tara, I have a whole ton of messages. Can you put it in our back chat here in StreamYard, the name or something?
Because I'll do that.
I see about 50 messages.
Yeah, I'll go to the private chat side, see if I can do this right. Okay, you should be able to see it now. Oh, God, my phone is blowing up. Oh, goodness. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I will
Okay.
look at that real quick. Give me just a moment. If you want to.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that, okay. You've got something. It's not from that. Goodness. That's a little bit. Okay. So it's maybe, let me go back to the group chat and try to weasel my way through this. Because I think. Okay. So that person just left a chat in the chat. Okay, a source on the ground has confirmed Jillian has been recovered. They're using an excavator to retrieve Veronica. Keep talking. I will go look into that right now. If my corner cutter is
Okay.
on the
Okay.
line,
I see it. I see
go
it.
look at it.
Yep. I
Let's
see
see.
it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Yep,
Gun
I
Nut.
just confirmed, Carrie. I just
Okay,
got it confirmed. It
so-
just came through.
So what this says is Jillian is recovered and they had the excavator getting Veronica out. I said that a little bit earlier though. Is that the one?
It is. Well, we said there that there was talk about.
Okay, we did not know if Jillian had been recovered.
Okay,
So
yep. So
this is
Jillian has
saying
been recovered.
Jillian has been recovered. They are still using that small excavator that I talked about earlier. That is on property that Tad leases from somebody else. And they have the excavator getting Veronica out.
Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, so I'm having somebody that is trying to validate. Okay. I've got a couple looking into that right now. Okay, so it sounds like Jillian's been recovered, and maybe that's why Jillian's mom did come out and say so. It may have been known for a couple of hours. That's why she went out and said
Right.
it, but nobody on Veronica's family. So again, that's why we don't assume that one leads to another. And so we're just going to have to wait until they know more with the excavation process. Yeah, absolutely, Justin Rockford. I agree. Carrie does a phenomenal job. She's outstanding. And I just want to point out there's been a couple of comments just for funsies. I don't know, because we are those kind of people sometimes. Tiffany doesn't look that great for 54.
That's all.
I know it's a mugshot.
Holy cow. Yeah. She's looking a little stressed, I think.
Stress is a good word. That's one word I'd use for it. Stressed.
Yeah, maybe a little stressed out.
That's little bit. That's okay. We all have our own journeys, what have you. I just want to point that out. That's been pointed out a couple of times. I want to recognize the chatters in the group. They're not being mean, just observations. It's totally fine,
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going through the chat too. Okay, let's get to this one. Okay. So you guys can imagine, and I'm glad that it is. I'm sure my phone is blowing up. Carrie's is blowing up.
Yeah, I can
It's nonstop, which is good. So it's because you're in the chat, you're in the Facebook. Keep it up.
Yes, thank you.
It is. Oh my gosh, witchy E, that's funny. Sorry, I should not have laughed out loud, but that's funny.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
I was gonna say
we're really nice people, but I mean, do we dare point out the obvious?
If you folks, so I know there are people in this they're watching, and they know me, and they're like, Tara's being awfully nice. She's being very articulate. They know I'm an articulate person, but they're like, wow, Tara, you're holding back. That's cool. Good for you. Well, you can do that? Wait a second.
You
can
have
hold
the
back?
ability. Can we work on that more? Otherwise,
so it's like, they're like, wait a second, if you're that open with us, Like, well, okay.
Yeah, our understanding is that grandma did confess.
Yeah. Okay. Why did she do it and others? Andy Garcia. God, I wish you were the actor at this point. That'd be a fun conversation to have, but we'll take any Andy Garcia. Why'd she do it and others? I understand the first part of that, Andy, but I don't know that I understand the second part. If you will clarify that one for us, we can theorize. We can't tell you definitively. That's the law enforcement's job, but we can certainly theorize.
Yeah, if you want to clarify that, we will. If as far as the kids, so I do know that the kids have been like they've been in school every day since this happened. Um, she has been taking them to school every day, which I'm kind of surprised, but she had been. As far as I know, they hadn't missed any school. There's like one day she didn't take them to church. But other than that, as far as where the kids are now, no, we don't know. I can tell you that have talked with some of Veronica's family in our group and in our chat, and they are they're more than happy. They will take those kids in a heartbeat, and they love them, and they definitely do have a place to go that is family that truly loves them and will care for them like they should be. But as of right now, we don't know, and but that'll be worked out. I'm sure that's going to be worked out okay.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, so I'm gonna. Yep, I've got the. Okay, keep talking, Carrie. I just got the other GoFundMe for Jillian.
Oh, cool.
I got Veronica's, and I have Jillian's, and I want to get those posted to the site.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
if you want
gosh.
to if you want to put them in the chat when you're done with that, then
Yes,
we can kind of
ma'am.
pin them or whatever. That's
Oh
fine.
yes. Let's just do that. Okay. Here
Boy,
we go.
that's the truth, Christopher. And it looks like it kind of weighed a little heavy on some of these. Whew.
Carrie, have you gone cross-eyed with your phone? 'Cause I'm pretty sure I'm seeing doubles now.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Probably.
okay.
Well.
It is up.
Well, we still have Frank in our group. So hi, Frank. Nice to meet you.
How you doing, buddy?
And I said the other day, like, I would have talked to the grandma. Like, I wasn't scared of her. I don't think it's like that. Like, just any person, she's just going to start shooting at you. And I don't think it's like that. I absolutely would have talked to her. And in fact, had she not been arrested today, and it's against everything I do in true crime. I almost thought about reaching out, and I didn't. Thankfully, I didn't. But it was tempting. It was very tempting because I'm like, what do you got to say after all this time? I already knew that she was, we already knew. Everybody knew. We just weren't saying it out loud because, you can't accuse people until they've been charged. So we try to be very careful about that over here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 counts each of first-degree murder, kidnapping, conspiracy to commit murder and first degree. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. The OSBI statement, we're probably behind it. Oh, yeah, I'm like way behind in the chat, like an hour. But yeah, we read that earlier. And again, and I know where this is coming from. Frank is not the butcher. Please, Frank is not the butcher. The butcher has a very nice business there, by the way. Now, I've heard some stuff, and I think that what I've been told by multiple people is probably the truth about things. But as far as whether he had like direct involvement in any of this, we don't know that. All we know is he's not been arrested. So, but Frank is not the butcher. Frank is the son of Cole, who is this guy right here. So that is Frank's dad or stepdad. Is it his stepdad? I'm not sure.
So
One of the two.
Frank and Cole are related, father, son. Cora is stepmother to Frank. Because
Okay.
Cole and Cora haven't been married for terribly long.
That isn't grandma's boy. Well, they were like living together, so that's strange. They've been together for
with
8 or 9 years.
there's been back and forth
I'm not
about that.
sure.
And I never really, at this point, I don't care if they're together
No,
or
I
not.
don't
I think that's
either.
a minor detail in the grand
Yeah.
scheme of things. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it has something and everything to do with they tend to work well together, apparently. They are unfortunately effective people to work together with, which is why they should not be together.
Right. Well, they're gonna, be sitting in the same prison cell, hopefully, very soon. And then, so exactly. So Cole and Cora are married. Frank is Cole's son. Cora is the stepmom to Frank. Chloe is Frank's wife. Then you have the hero teenage girl. That is
Yeah.
Cora's daughter. So Frank plus teenage girl equals step siblings. Perfectly way to put it. But it is difficult to keep track. It truly is. And there was so many names that I kind of gave up. Like by the other night, I couldn't even think straight. I was like,
That's what you had before.
I was like, what's my name?
What is going on, Tara? Where am I
Yeah,
at?
it was.
What is happening?
I just had way too much information in my head that I needed to unload there. Yeah, 4 children without mother's husband, without a wife, fiance, partner, so many other family members, beautiful women. That's what I've been saying all along, Crafty Lady. Like, it's not just Veronica and Jillian's children that are affected by this. There's so many other children that are affected and other families and other family members or members in the community that really thought these were like, good people. And I can't imagine waking up one day to find out that somebody you thought was a pretty decent dude, all of a sudden is booked for murder charges and conspiracy and all this. I can't imagine, but I can tell you the Twombly's. What I heard is that they used to be pretty decent people, but they're not quite like that anymore, and quite obviously they're not. So
Clearly. I am trying to get my phone's just like, it's so blown up. But I love it. I'm glad it is because the information is awesome. It's coming in fast and quick. And Shannon, you're so nice. Oh. Let's see. What else have we... correct. The butcher's not been named or arrested. And that's one thing too, until things come out at the quote unquote official basis, we're not going to use full names. That's why we're not mentioning, while we know Frank or Cole or any Twombly is not the butcher, of the Twomblys that have been mentioned, we're not going to say who is, because if he's not involved, then why get him involved?
Exactly. And I'm sure that, his reputation has already been pretty much destroyed by this whole situation anyway. And, I mean, there's a human side of me that says, well, you got your ass into it, I mean, you're the one that did it. You knew what was going on, behind closed doors. And I say that knowing a little bit more than what we're telling you right now. But, and I'm not saying like horrible things, just things that the average person would side eye kind of thing, basically.
Exactly.
But,
exactly.
As far as Veronica's kids with Veronica's dad, now I did not meet Veronica's dad. I have no proof of anybody meeting Veronica's dad. I have no doubt that did happen. But I did meet Wrangler's grandmother. And what she told me is that she spent about 3 or 4 years helping raise those kids. So that grandmother already has a relationship with the children. My understanding is Veronica's dad lives in West Virginia. That's what I've been told. I can't verify that. But I know that the grandmother, Wrangler's grandmother, she would absolutely like to get custody if possible. But I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
I just know that Veronica does have enough family that is more than happy to step in and to take care of those children.
Mermaid, will you put up the Watson's puzzle comment? I want to address that. I think that's important to address. It's timed at 8:39. She's highlighting different things, so I was hoping she'd hear me to highlight that.
Let me get that.
But there it is, and it says poor Jillian was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know that I can agree with that, as awful as that probably sounds. But I think when I heard this case, I remember distinctly hearing pastor's wife. And I thought, well, how would a pastor's wife go missing? And I saw the photos of Veronica and Jillian. And then you start digging in, and I got attached to this case right away. And I honestly think that if Jillian wasn't there, none of us would be here. I don't think we'd have 4 arrests. I think Jillian was the catalyst, was that special key that brought so much light to this case. Whether or not it was used for selling stories and getting views, I don't care. But if you had to look at a divine intervention in this whole situation, something special, it's Jillian.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Boy, isn't that the truth? Because otherwise, it would have been chalked up to something else, and it wouldn't be where it is now. And these people that have been getting away with basically harassing their community for years and years and years, and threatening people and all sorts of bad stuff. If it hadn't been for Jillian being with them, and bless her heart, it's horrible.
It is horrible.
It also, I don't know how to say this in a kind way. So if her family's in here, I'm really sorry. It's just that this is just how I feel. And I'm just going to say it. Had Jillian not been there, this would have no coverage whatsoever. So
it would have been swept under the rug.
Yes. And then this whole situation that's going on in the background over there would have continued for years and years longer.
Yes.
And the people there they're fed up with it. They're tired of it,
Yep.
And so Jillian, God love her. She
and so that's
into a horrible situation. And I truly do not mean that cruel whatsoever.
No. In fact, Emma Fleet's I want to say your last name, and if I was in a room by myself speaking what looks like Spanish, I could do it perfectly, but I can't in front of people. I'm just not good enough at my Spanish yet. Veronica was enough. She absolutely was. The issue, though, is Veronica was kind of a part of that community by default because of her kids and Granny. And so it would have been easy to get rid of Veronica by herself and nobody say anything, because that is called no man's land for a reason. And Carrie can attest to this. And I heard it from some of the locals that contacted me. People go missing down there and they're never heard or seen from again. And so it's an unfortunate blessing that Jillian was there so that we knew to look for both of them. That's the unfortunate catalyst
Exactly.
It's nothing against Veronica, because it ended up, she was the target. And when you have a target, you take them out without anybody realizing they're gone. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. And if it was so easy for them to do this to these two, I mean,
gosh.
how often do you get 4 people? And I'm still saying that I think there's 1 or 2 more. I mean, I could be wrong,
I do too.
How often do you see something like that where you can get a group of individuals that will go along with something like this? Usually it's like 1 or 2 people, because you rat each other out and, the other's going to turn on you or whatever. But to involve that many people it's really strange, very strange. And the fact that Jillian was with Veronica that day, very well, in my heart and mind, could have saved a lot of other people, because if it was that easy for them to do it this time, have they done it before? Would they do it again? You never know. And to me, it looks like this was this like another day on the farm to them. It's just horrible. So yes, Cole did have another son, Vern, who died in 2020. He was found deceased in his truck. It was said that he fell asleep in his truck and he died from carbon dioxide poisoning. His dog was found with him. I'd kind of like to look into that a little bit, but
I have thoughts on that, but it's complete theory and it's analysis of
yeah.
what I've seen. And only because Kylie's put it out there, I feel comfortable to say something to it. The suicide drug overdose, I kind of feel like that's a one and the same on this one. I don't know enough about it. Whispers from people who are like, I heard from a herd type of situation, but there's been a lot of conversations about meth being a problem for the youth in that area. And so that would align with all of that if that's the case. But it's unfortunate that I can't imagine losing a child at any level for whatever reason. So that cannot help the mentality at all.
No, not at all. Kylie said Frank had a lot to say today. What did he have to say today, Kylie? I mean, you can come up here if you want. I didn't see any. I mean, I wasn't looking at any of that stuff, to be honest. But
Some things have come through the. Are you saying in the group or otherwise, Kylie?
Like on his own Facebook page, probably.
There's been a lot of folks that have sent me some Frank Facebook stuff, some Cole Facebook stuff. It is interesting stuff. I'm not going to lie or tell you any different, but yeah, Kylie, do you have any desire to come on and chat about what is, or clarify?
Yeah,
because I'm just thinking the Facebook stuff was interesting.
Right, I just dropped the link in the chat.
Sweet.
If you do want to, Kylie. Yeah, I'm with you, Maggie. Like, I don't understand how you get a couple of friends to agree. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have any friends that would agree with this. In fact, they'd be like, no. I mean, what the heck? So that to me, that speaks a lot. That says a lot. That they would all be okay with something like this. It's just, I don't know.
It's, well, I guess it goes back to having those tight bonds when you are a small group that gets together every Sunday. And if you, I mean, we all know the person that plays the victim card in our lives. So maybe it's along those lines too, that, and you've got enough pushing power. There's a lot to go through on that one. It's a lot to unpack.
Deborah Smith, you're in the back, but you need to connect your mic before I can add you. It says that your mic and your cam is not connected. So how many others were charged is what I was asking about. Others, thanks, Jillian and Veronica. There were 4 charged today. And those names were the Cole Twombly, Cora Twombly, husband and wife, Tad Colum, who is the boyfriend of Grandma, and Tiffany Adams. So Grandma's boyfriend, and basically they're 2 kind of besties. All 4 were arrested today. The other one we were able to clarify earlier because I know it's going to spread like wildfire. Shelly Harmon is not connected to this. It just so happened, bless her heart, she got booked at the same time and it just appeared, like it just appeared that way. So I feel safe saying I don't think that she has any involvement. Deborah, I'm going to drop you off for just a moment and then you come back up. You'll just need to connect your mic and stuff. So you want to hear how all this took place? I feel like they were lured in going to Tiffany's house. Well, what I can tell you, all right, hold on. Okay, Cora, give me just a moment. Oh, she just dropped back down. You can come back up if you want to. So I know that a lot has been said, and I'm going to try to say this without giving away the information. Deborah, it says it's still not connected. But as far as like, were they lured into going to Tiffany's house or what have you? Now, I kind of thought that originally, but then I went back through all my messages today, all my messages. And what I can tell you is that Jillian's family is firmly convinced that what happened did occur where the car was found. So Jillian's husband that's what he thinks. So they don't believe that there was another place and then they were lured in, or the car was brought over, or all the, the other stuff, which I did kind of think that in the beginning, because I'm like, how in the world at this area that just doesn't even make any sense. But somehow it looks like they were able to pull that off. Deborah, you can you want to call in? She said she doesn't have a mic or a cam. Tara?
Oh, I do not know how that, on the phone, maybe. Can she just do it on the phone?
Yeah, let me see. So I have
I'm-
I've not used this before, so forgive me if it's if it doesn't. You just want to listen? Okay, well if you just want to listen, I'm going to take you down from here. And I'm going to bring Kylie up. And if you and Kylie can talk for just a moment, Tara.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Kylie.
I need to step away for just a moment. I'll be right back.
You are good. Kylie, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, I can't hear you. That's not good.
Oh no.
Harry, come back. There you are.
I can hear Kylie. Are you driving, Kylie?
Yeah, sorry.
Yep, I figured you were.
Oh
Okay,
no.
can you hear
Okay.
me?
I can't hear Kylie. This happens to me every time somebody else comes on the panel. And so Carrie, I can hop out and come back in if you want me to. If you can hold off long enough for me to do that real quick, it'll
Yeah,
take
go
about
right
15
ahead.
seconds.
Go
I'll be
right
right
ahead.
back.
So Kylie, she was going to basically kind of talk about Frank's. So Frank is the one that threatened us the day that we planned on going and searching out at the school. The school is where they have land right behind it, and that's where they hold their meetings on Wednesdays and Sundays, what have you. Frank is the one that had made a threat. Now looking back, I showed my husband, he's like, well, maybe that wasn't really a direct threat to you, it was like a comment on a post, but whatever, I took it as you don't want to come out here kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was good enough for me. But Kylie, you want to talk about that for a minute? What's going on with Frank today?
He's got something up his panties right now. I mean, I don't really blame him. So I don't really know him. I know his stepbrother. Stepbrother's cool as shit. Big fan of him, but they're completely different people. Did not grow up in the same households kind of situation. And I'm not gonna bring him into it. But
Give
Frank
me just
is
one moment. Tara, can you hear her now?
I can hear her now. If she can hear me.
Perfect. I'll
Yeah,
be right back.
I'm
Thank
good.
you.
Hey, Kylie, how are you
Frank
doing?
is. I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you're talking about, I heard stepbrother, so I assume we're talking about Frank.
Okay, you cut out.
Oh, are we talking about Frank, the stepbrother? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, we're talking about Frank.
Oh, okay.
Frank is the full brother. He is Cole's kid.
Yes, that was my understanding.
Yes. Yeah. So he is, Cole's only son now, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what all's going on. He said, I've been getting a lot of screenshots today. I haven't really been on any groups much today, but I've been getting a ton of messages. He's been posting like, all you motherfuckers, or sorry, I don't know if I can cuss on here. All you MFers
You're good. Keep going.
are keeping our days exciting. I hope that the girls are, how did he word it? Pretty much in their best way, healthy and stuff.
What's that? You cut out. He's almost,
He was,
I mean, you could take his post a couple of ways, right? Like either passive aggressive, snarky, of
yeah, like,
supportive, or just outright a threat.
yeah, like his posts are all coming off as though he definitely knows something, but like he's making it seem like he doesn't know anything, you know?
Okay.
It's just really weird to me. Um, I don't know. Yeah,
And did
it's
you
just
talk to
very weird.
Frank?
I did not. I'm not going to.
Okay. Okay. Um, and so I missed the
Um,
first, obviously I could not hear. I had to hop out, hop back in. What was the first part of your conversation with Carrie?
that he was the one that threatened them about the school situation whenever they were going to go out there.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
following now. I was trying to come in on context. I wasn't. Um, so, oh, I had something. Our phones are blowing up like crazy. So I guess the big
Yeah, so is
question
mine.
for some folks, and there's some comments there's some comments coming in, and I'm sure you've seen and heard it all yourself. I think you
Yeah.
run a Facebook page too. I could not find it. It doesn't mean anything, but I could not find your page, so I don't know. You have a Facebook page on the same thing?
I do not know.
Okay,
I
you
don't know
don't.
where that rumor came from.
Okay,
Oh, I know where that rumor came from, but I'm not going to say it.
that's
But I
okay.
do not.
Okay, so you don't have one. That's why I'm like,
No,
I can't find
I'm just a
anything that's linked to
nobody.
you, but
I was,
I don't know
I
about
was
that.
just a friend. I was just a friend that wanted some answers.
Okay.
So I got some
Um,
answers.
and so when you said you got some answers, were you, oh, she's going to show her screen. I'm not. Carrie, you're going to have to tell me what you're showing. Nope, you're not showing anymore. Every time her screen tries to present, it never shows me. And I don't, oh, I don't know how this thing works, but I'm not StreamYard savvy. So, but it seemed like an easy answer. Okay, so you wanted some answers. How did you go about getting those answers?
I came out here and
You did.
I came out here and I lived here for 6 years until I got divorced, and I
Okay.
just recently moved in January, so everybody still knows me very well.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be good or bad, most people like me very well. A few people very much do not like me, and you know who you are.
Oh, okay.
The comments have talked for themselves on those ones.
Well,
But
and all can have their opinions. There's nothing wrong with an opinion. They don't have to be in your favor or not in your favor.
well, the
That is
small
life in general.
towns, like the thing about small towns is you go two ways. Is you're either
Okay.
really, really liked or you're really, really hated. And like whenever you divorce a big name, it goes one of two ways.
Okay. So
And
so you moving away was probably it didn't go your way, or it's just a job, and you don't have to answer. I don't want to pry and put you in a weird position either.
I mean, I just moved back home. I'm not from here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like I had no reason to be in Kansas. I moved here for him.
That's right, because Elkhart I keep forgetting Elkhart is in Kansas, but it's right there on the border, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 2 miles from where the car was found. So it's right on the line.
It's very close. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
So you were
everybody
right.
gets very confused.
So real
Okay.
quick, I was just sharing what Frank had to say that day. That was We were about probably 15 minutes away from that school area where they have their meetings and the family lives, they all kind of live out there. So that's what I was sharing here. That's what he had sent as we were on our way. And he very well knew that we were on our way because he was watching a live. So that's why I shared that. I'm going to take it off the screen now, but you can see what he had to say there.
Is that the one I've seen before?
It
Because I
is,
can't
yeah.
see your screen when you show something on the screen. I don't get to
Yeah,
see
it was his MF or comment and stuff. Yeah, but I hadn't been able to share it because I didn't have a computer. But yeah, that's all that was. But I was just showing you that. Yeah, he did indeed do that.
Gotcha.
Okay, continue on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. I'm back to getting some. I've got folks texting in different things to me, and so um. Oh, keep going, Kylie. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. But yeah, I came down for, oh gosh, I can't remember what day I came down after it all happened. I don't know, Kylie, give her a break. Some people, I can't read the comments.
So the one on the screen, it says, I don't know Kylie, but give her a break. Some people laugh when nervous. Maybe she isn't a pro at panels. I'm not getting the impression she thinks anything is funny. I agree. We're not gonna bash people here. That's not about that. We're giving Kylie an opportunity to speak. I've seen a lot of negativity about her. I know she's seen it. She's already addressed that. So you know what? Let's give her an opportunity to speak to her experience with this whole situation because I think she deserves that space.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming up here and talking and stuff. And yeah, our chat does need to show some respect. And if you have issues, you can do it, away from this YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, no, I'm literally a nobody. I've never been on this before. I don't know how this works. And I'm driving right now. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
So you don't know. So Amy, that's an area you were familiar with. You wanted to go down there, check it out, maybe help out. I don't know
Yeah,
that that's unreasonable by any means.
Yeah, so whenever it happened, like it was the day before Easter, we went to the canyons. We normally have Easter at the canyons. We went down to the canyons to clean up the little area because trees and stuff can get all yucky down there. Cleaned it up so everybody was okay with the area. And then we got back up to cell service and my dad's phone went off and I kind of made a joke, which now that I look back, it was inappropriate, but I made a joke. I was like, oh no, like another missing kid from Louisiana. Because, it's never an Amber Alert from local.
Right.
Because it really never is around here. Like, it sounds really, really bad now that I think about it, but here it's never local. Like, a missing kid is terrible, but it's never around here. And then, like, 10 or 15 minutes later, I get the Amber Alert on my phone, and I look at it, and I see the name, and it said Veronica Butler, and it said red hair. I was like, holy crap. So I immediately, I call my ex-husband. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? And he, tells me the rundown, what he knew about it. I was like, okay, well, let me know if you hear of anything else or, just, keep me in the loop because he still lives here. So I didn't hear anything the first day or much. And then a few of our friends kept me in the loop for the second day. The third day, one of my friends where I live now, we got together because she knew Veronica. We got together and we came down to Elkhart. We looked at everything. We came down. And we like came to where the car was. The cops asked us, I guess, because we were parked there for a little bit. The lieutenant from Texas County came down. She was like, "What are you guys doing here?" I was like, "We're just looking, if that's okay." She was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And she took our name and kind of just gave us the okay that we could be there. And we sat there for a little bit longer. We were kind of just curious as to what everybody was saying, because for the first couple of days, all of the groups were kind of just bashing all of the cops. Like, there's nothing really going on. There's no search parties and all of this stuff, and just kind of going on about it. And me being so far away, I was kind of baffled because, again, they were just nonstop bashing everybody. And I just wanted answers, and I couldn't get answers if I wasn't seeing anything. So, talked to them, got my own answers. Then we went to Four Corners where they were supposed to meet Tiffany. Looked to see if I could find anything out of the ordinary, I guess. There was like glass on the ground, but there's normally always glass on the ground. That's kind of where all of the teenagers drink and throw beers at the stop signs and stuff, because that's just what you do when you live in the middle of nowhere. There's not a whole lot else to do. Yeah, you booze, Cruz?
You boost, right?
And then, yeah, I came down every day after that for a few other days. That next day I came down, I met with Clinton, Veronica's dad. We talked
Are
for
you
a
there?
little bit.
Can you hear me, Carrie? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh,
I
crap.
can
Did
I
I?
can hear you, not
Oh.
Kylie quite so much.
Oh, okay. So I can't hear. I can't hear her, but I can see her audio's gone. Kylie, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, let me drop her.
Hello?
Let me drop her down real quick.
Oh, crap. Is she driving?
Yes, she is.
Oh, okay. That was that background. Okay. So that was that background noise. Okay. Crap. I wonder if, okay. So we're new to StreamYard. I don't know if the driving was an issue or what, but
I'm very new to StreamYard. But I did want to answer this question. Or it's not a question, a statement. Patricia, it isn't a scary area. It's very rural. It's not scary at all. Like, the people there are amazing. It's not scary. If you've ever lived in a rural area, it's just not scary. It's just a rural area. I mean, there's not, a lot of people from, you might go 10 minutes and not see anybody, but nothing scary about it whatsoever. So
it's beautiful out there. As some of the pictures you guys were showing and some of the things I've seen on, Google Maps and all that great fun jazz, the terrain goes for miles. It's flat. And you can see some of the best storms coming in. It's some of the best sunsets would be down there. So it's beautiful country. It's not
definitely.
designed to be scary at all.
As far as glass on the ground at the scene, I've not heard that once yet. Not once. So I'm not sure about that.
So I'm going to address that.
I might have stepped away because I don't know where that came from. I had stepped away, but yeah, I have not heard the glass, but you can address that.
I'll tell you, I had heard that once before. And I didn't know where it was, so I kept it quiet. I'd seen it in a few comments, and so when I started talking with you, Carrie, I never mentioned it, and I thought, well, if she brings it up, great, we can investigate that. But until that, because normally you bring up something, and I kind of had something to that, we could build off of that, or you'd give me something to go look up, and it was great. But then I recognized you guys. There's video out there that was put out there at one point I was like, wait a second, they're looking directly at the ground where the car was at. There's no glass anywhere, nowhere. And that's what took that out of I took that out of the formula at that point. I just didn't see how that was possible. So I'm not sure where that information came from or
Yeah,
how
I'm
it
not
got
either.
going. Danielle, rumors always. Rumors roll. They're good stories. Oh goodness. What else have we got in the chat?
So somebody said that both bodies have been recovered. I do you have verification of that, Tara?
I don't. I was looking. I just saw that. I was looking for that. Let me
Right.
go back to my phone and
If somebody does, yeah. Yeah, it is heartbreaking. It is absolutely. They're always heartbreaking, but this just feels, I don't know. I think because there's just so much to it. So many people involved, so many families involved, so many children involved. Typically we're used to dealing with just one set of children or one child. And in this case, there's going to be a whole lot that is affected. And that to me is very heartbreaking that somebody would do this to so many people. Okay, so Kylie said, sorry that glass was at Four Corners, not the car scene. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if there's glass at Four Corners. If it's anything like when I was in high school in small town Oklahoma, we go sit on the corner and drink our beers and what have you. So it might be kind of the same way there. I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
That makes sense. Okay. All right.
So Lori says, all I know is these ladies on, you're not talking about this podcast, right? Had said they found the bodies. Okay, so I'm not sure about that.
So we didn't say both bodies were found. We've heard that Jillian's has been recovered, and Jillian's mom has been on Facebook stating that Jillian has passed. And so other reports have come in. They're not official. We're not seeing anything from officials. We're getting details. We're getting things from the people that we have created relationships with that say, hey, XYZ has happened. And then you kind of try to connect the dots. And so we don't know for certain that both women have been recovered. Am I still there?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm here.
Our phones are going crazy. The chat's going crazy.
Yeah,
so
and I try to keep an eye on it just in case there is something that does come through, but
it's all good. It's all good.
I really can't keep up with that at the
They already
same
said Jillian's family has already said they recovered the body. Okay, so I think that's what I saw too. I think we mentioned that earlier on the live is that they have recovered Jillian's body and they were going after Veronica's next. Okay, about 45 minutes ago, we all talked about that. Okay, so.
We did also talk a little bit earlier. It was brought up about Vern, who is the other son of Cole, that he had passed in 2020. Somebody did just send me a message and said, for a fact, Vern died from a carbon monoxide poisoning incident. Him and his dog fell asleep in his pickup. No one was there, and he was found 2 days later. Autopsies showed no substances in his body.
Okay.
So. All right. Do we have that GoFundMe for Jillian?
I have posted them both in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, let me help you find them so you can highlight them. That'll be easier for well, I don't know if they can, because I posted about probably 20 minutes ago. If I knew how to do it myself, so I would be more helpful.
Yeah, I missed it all. So I just posted the number. If you'd like to talk, like if you want to talk about the situation or what you know, or you just want to talk about the women, whatever, you're welcome to call the number on the screen. I will say I have not used it before or done it before, but I'm sure we'll figure it out real quick. But if you're not comfortable coming up on panel and you'd like to discuss it, you can call in and we'll be able to hear you and you can talk that way.
Perfect. Yeah, if you are not a part of the Facebook group, that's go find it. I will drop the link there. The GoFundMes are there. I did post them there.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. That's what
All
I'm here
right.
for.
So I knew this would come along because there's new people coming into this every single day. And that's perfectly fine that you're not aware. That's totally fine. I'm glad that you're here and you're interested. So to sum up the connection between the two missing and the grandma arrested. Well, Veronica Butler is the grandmother's so her children, Veronica and the grandmother's son, Wrangler, have 2 children together. Wrangler has been gotten himself in some trouble here. He's been in jail, not prison. I keep hearing he's not prison, but he's been in jail. He was recently released. He had to go straight to rehab. But there has been an ongoing custody battle for many years between all of them. And it's not necessarily the way I read it, and this is my opinion, is not necessarily between Veronica and Wrangler. This custody battle was between Grandma and Veronica. Grandma wanted the kids. There's a little bit more to it, but really that kind of summarizes it up. They had an upcoming court meeting. Veronica was trying to get custody of her children, or right now she just had visitation every Saturday. She was trying to get custody or at least more visitation. And that was coming up, I think, the 21st of this month. Is that right?
I think the 17th. I've heard
17th.
both
Okay.
days.
That was the other day I had in my head. So it's probably the 17th. They had a court date scheduled for the 17th where that was to be heard. And a week ago, Saturday, Veronica had a lady named Jilian with her, Jilian Kelley. Veronica had to have supervised visitations, and Jillian happened to be one of the ladies on the list that could supervise those visits. So Veronica and Jillian take off at about, I think it's 8 o'clock in the morning. And they head that way to go meet grandmother with the children like they're supposed to do. Veronica had seen the children 2 weeks prior. So I know there's been rumor that they hadn't seen them since July or November. No, they had seen them 2 weeks prior. And when they didn't arrive back home, their husband expected them back home by, I think it was around 10. The phone pinged. I believe it was like 9:38. I'm really bad at my memory. I believe the phone pinged, say around 9:38. At 9:42, the phone was dead. They did not arrive back home by 10 like they were expected to. And the fiance and the husband of the other, I guess they went out and they started looking for him. And so that's where we're at now. And then today there were 4 arrests made. And the grandmother and her boyfriend are 2 of those people. They're friends who are also a part of this. I guess the best way for me to describe it is a religious kind of organization. But that is all about the Constitution, their rights. They want to be sovereign citizens, that kind of thing. And so that's where we're at. They're just arrested those 4 people this afternoon. And like I've said many times, I still believe that there's going to be more to come. Again, I'm not sure that there are multiple scenes. One of the family members does not seem to think that there are. He does think that because he was on the scene, he does think that everything that occurred actually did occur where the car was found. So I hope that hopefully that answers it. That's just like the quickest summary I can give because there's just so much to it. That is really, it's really interesting, but it's also just sick and demented at the same time.
It is. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, Melanie Little's great too. Yeah, I was able to grab most all those court documents as well before.
You are outstanding.
Yeah, they're sitting in the Discord. I just haven't had a chance to do anything with any of all of that stuff that I have yet, but I do have the majority of them because that's like the first thing I do. So thankfully it is the first thing I do because they got locked down like maybe 2 days later, I think. A few people came in here and said that about the bodies. One was a supposed insider who was anonymous. That person emailed Carrie and Tara. They weren't saying it was confirmed. They were replying, yeah. The only one that we really confirm is Jillian at this point. And I don't see anything. I don't see anything else that says anything about that Veronica has been found. But the last we know, they were looking into it. They were digging in a specific area for. So let's see.
Alrighty.
Anything else?
There's a lot, but I think we can probably do a second live and a third live because
Oh my gosh, yes. Multiple like episodes, basically. That's kind of how I was trying to like pull it out today. I was like, okay, well, first one we could do the background and kind of the connection between these different families and the friends and how they're all connected, and the second we could kind of go into the court documents, but there's no way you could do it. I like to keep the lives fairly short, and this one's already at 2 hours.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
I
So
like
that's
to
what we'll
keep
plan
them.
for next time, right?
Yeah.
We can break down a timeline and go into the family tree and start building the picture for everybody that we have, which will probably clarify some of our picture too, given all the information. I mean, it's amazing that how this becomes a full-time job very quickly. So there's a lot going on, but I think we should do another one and just start breaking the thing down and painting the picture
Absolutely.
for everybody.
Yep, that's what
that'd
we'll
be
do
good.
next time. We'll just start from square one and kind of, give you a real factual background on everything, and then we'll go from there. They are using an excavator. They are still searching for Veronica, and they obviously have a pretty good idea of where they were because the grandmother did confess. Allegedly, she did confess. So she probably in that confession probably told them where they could find them, but it might not be real easy. So that's the last that we heard. Grandma did indeed threaten a judge. That judge is indeed on 24/7 protection. That judge is the one that overturned the initial ruling that Veronica would have full custody. Wrangler, the kid's dad, or I'm going to say it's probably more grandma, took it back to court and filed an appeal, and Wrangler got custody. And the judge that is on 24/7 watch, she is the judge that did that appeal, and she's also the judge that grandma did in fact threaten in court.
Yeah.
So a little crazy. I'm not sure how she wasn't arrested right then and there, but she wasn't. So anyway, all right.
Alrighty.
Well, hopefully we were able to give you guys a little bit of information, answer some of the questions that you had. If you have any others, feel free to ask them in the Facebook group. We're more than happy to answer, anything that we can for you. But I appreciate everybody being here. Tara, I always appreciate you very, very much. And the mods, thank you so much. All of you guys being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your interest in the case. And just because there's been arrests, we can't stop now.
Correct.
That's my feeling. We need to keep going. There's a little bit more exposing, I think, that needs to take place. And that's my intention. So I plan on seeing it through. I can't wait to see them eye to eye in the courtroom. That'll be my highlight of my day for sure. So
absolutely.
Yep. All right.
Alrighty. Until next time.
Yes. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Take care of each other. Be safe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you. You're worth it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.